We are a family of 6 living in a 36-foot RV while we tame this mess and create a homestead for our family. For the past 2 weeks, Jim has been working on an AC project for our good friends Jason and Jen. They were our neighbors in Jacksonville and have just bought this cute old house about 20 minutes from us in the country. I was so excited to hear their plans for this property that I had to share it with you guys. So what's your vision for sharing your homestead?
The reason why we wanted to move out here is just so the kids can be in the country and they can learn husbandry, they can learn agricultural skills, gardening, living off the land, hunting, fishing. And so we're going to be doing that here regardless, but I want other people that may not have the space or have the know-how how to garden at all to have the opportunity. And so we just opened it up for them to be able to come and plant with us, and we're gonna make little markers, and so they can, you know, not only say tomato, but put their little initials. That way, every time that they come, they can see their plant grow and see their tomato or whatever it is grow, and they can harvest it and take that pride, like, oh, okay, I nurtured this, you know, and I learned about it. Because, you know, it's one thing to learn from books, you know, science of how something goes from a seed to a plant, and then you can do this with it. But it's another thing to actually get your hands dirty and see the work that it takes in order to get that to go from a seed to a plant to your table. We compost, and when you compost, you can't only do your kitchen scraps, that's green matter. You also have to put brown matter in there, and so we do leaves. And then when we burn the ash, we also put the ash in there. So you want to combine your green matter and your brown matter, and that makes really good compost to put in the garden to help supplement the soil. When we trimmed stuff, we just piled it up and saved it, and of course it's rotting nicely. Usually I have the tarp over it, that way it's that heat. But you also want it to get moisture, and so just kind of letting it get rain on.
So you're doing this specifically for compost, so this is not firewood.
Soil. No, we want this to rot. This is a pear, which is finally making leaves. It hasn't made flowers yet, but it will. That one's pear, and then fig, and then mulberry. And then up front, I have 2 different plums because they're not self-pollinated, so you have to get 2 of them. And then I have a nectarine and a peach, which the others are self-pollinated, so you can do with 1.
Oh, is that for your future ducks?
Yes.
You're actually going to keep them? Like house them? Aren't you going to try to attract wild ducks?
Well, my thinking is that we attract wild ducks because you can feed them, you can observe them, but you can't really handle them like pets. She, of course, wants to have a duck as a pet, more, you know, domesticated, which if that's the case, I mean, they would let you get their eggs easier like that. And so I'm like, maybe. And so we have a duck hut, and either eggs or, I don't know, maybe for eggs, ducks for eggs, I don't know. But she wants really wants a duck for a pet. So this part is shady most of the time, partial shade, so partial sun, and so not everything will grow here. And so we're going to do onions on that side because you get a little bit of sun, and they can tolerate it to be more shady than a lot of other edibles. And so that's what that little blocked off area is going to be. And the deer come in from this area, and so it's why we always put corn out along here to feed the deer. There's a mama and 2 babies. We'll walk and see whenever it's gone, and that's when we know to put more. Anyways, and so we got all of the topsoil, and we, you know, piled it up, and then we put fertilizer in there.
What is used for fertilizer?
Manure. The local agriculture high school, they donated some already composted manure. And then we do have deer and rabbits and raccoons, just wild animals coming in. They're gonna come. I mean, this is their home first. And so we're gonna do a fence around it. So that's why there's posts around it, and then why we have the wood around it. It will be our garden.
What an awesome little gardening hut.
So he put a little light in here. I'm gonna take the heat lamp bulb out and put the grow light in. That way we can start our seedlings in here. So the process will be dirt into the toilet paper roll. Toilet paper roll will all be in here. And then we're gonna start doing microgreens. That's what she's in there researching right now. So we have the rotisserie chicken from Publix is our greenhouse.
Cool.
Right?
Very cool. That is very nice.
And my favorite thing is how you put a corkboard right here. That way I can put motivational little quotes and infographics for the kids, or like pictures when we start having different kids come, like the little pictures with their little plants and stuff. So.
Very cool.
Okay, we'll go water. I'm going to feed the fish. Okay, so the pond was here when we moved in, but it hasn't had anyone to really manage or help it out, and so we are stocking the pond. How we do that is we go fishing and just put our fish in there. And so right now it at least has 2 catfish and then a couple of bass and then a lot of brim in there. And so when we feed the fish, you could actually see it when they come up to the top. They do it in the pond, so it actually looks pretty cool. We want like gumball machine style feeders, and so you know how you put a quarter in and you get a gumball? We want to be able to put a quarter or a dime or just whatever in, and then the fish food comes out and then kids can throw and feed the fish. And then if we do attract the wild ducks, they can feed the ducks.
Tell me about these food plots that you're going to be setting out.
Millet is a grass you can plant and they'll eat that. And then Milo is another one. And then a lot of them eat radish and turnip leaves, and so you can eat the radish and the turnips, but the leaves, if they'll eat it. And so what we're going to do is have an area around the pond, probably over there where there's not any grass already, and just till it up and then sprinkle the seeds, and then the wild grasses that they like to eat will grow, and then they can eat it.
So what is your vision for your homestead? What do you have planned for out here?
It's probably, my 3 words is faith, family, and fellowship. So moved out here and are, not only to make a good living for the family and these kids to have fun out here, but also have other kids come out, learn something about what God's given us in this creation. Also, just like this barn, I want it to be a place we can congregate, have fellowship, meetings, family over, friends, that sort of thing. But also, most of all, so we can just get together and talk about God. Let's talk about what Jesus done in our lives. Let's talk about the blessings for once instead of the negativity that's out there every day. This is kind of a refuge for us. There's nothing better than getting out here and listening, being still and just listening to what God has to say. And most of all, I just enjoy my family being happy out here, and we're all happy together. There's always a project to do. There's always something to till. There's always something to plant. There's always something to build. There's always new people to meet as well. So it's I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. To connect with Jason and Jen and to schedule your time out at their place, you can join their new group, Homeschool Gardening, on Facebook.
Welcome to the mess,
Welcome to the mess.
where God takes our mess and makes it His best.
Yes.
Don't get me, I'm faking this. You're doing this and I'm not even doing anything. Should I get my meter out?
No.
This is live, by the way.
It's not live. I edit all of this.
No, I'm saying the electric is live. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put this panel back on.
Well, next week we'll see if Jim survives the
Yeah.
job or not.
Will he survive?